All right, Krishna, everyone. This is the acyuta-bhava from Nightlight Astrology, and today we are going to talk about how to pray for loved ones. I received a question from one of you and really appreciated this question. So I'm going to read the question out loud and then give a short response. So this question says, "Hi, Achyuta. I've been watching some of your videos where you talk about the spiritual practice, about your spiritual practices and God. Can you speak about how we pray to God when we have deep anguish about loved ones? I find that what I may call prayer is asking God for something. It's always been confusing to me as to how to pray, how to really be of help to my loved ones. This is probably on the minds of many of us right now in this time of COVID. We have lost loved ones, or we have loved ones who are going through the most difficult things. And there's nothing we can do. Lost jobs, physical illness that appears to be turning into a long-term disability of the worst kind. Thank you for the work that you do." Well, first of all, yeah, my heart goes out to you and your family if you've been struggling with family members who are out of jobs or who are sick due to COVID. It's a dark time right now. The astrology has certainly reflected that in the past year with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which often speaks to times of deep contraction and loss and death and exposure to darker themes that we often forget. The powerful aspect of such times is that we can remember really how important light and life and love are, and how simple things can be. And we can take this moment as a kind of a regenerative moment, as a moment to get back in touch with the most powerful and basic truths about existence and nature and life and spirit. So, but to your question about how to pray for loved ones, I want to read you something. This comes from Rumi, and it's called Love Dogs. It's a poem that he wrote. And recently, my personal assistant, Delia, shared this with me. And of course, I've heard this poem before, but it hadn't, it was, she helped me recall it and how special that this poem really is. And so I'm going to read this. "One night a man was crying, 'Allah, Allah.' His lips grew sweet with the praising until a cynic said, 'So, I have heard you calling out, but have you ever gotten any response?' The man had no answer to that. He quit praying and fell into a confused sleep. He dreamed he saw Kadir, the guide of souls, in a thick green foliage. 'Why did you stop praising?' 'Because I never heard anything back.' This longing you express is the return message. The grief you cry out from draws you toward union. Your pure sadness that wants help is the secret cup. Listen to the moan of a dog for its master. That whining is the connection. There are love dogs no one knows the name of. Give your life to be one of them." I really love that poem because I think it gets it just right when it comes to our prayer lives, especially when we're deeply concerned about someone or something, or we are experiencing pain or a feeling of helplessness, that when we take those emotions and infuse them into prayer, whether that's through song or poetry, however you talk to God, that the quality of that longing that we feel, if we can take those difficult, painful emotions and say, "God, where are you? Where's," as like the dog crying out for its master, "Where are you? I miss you. Where is your peace? Where is your love? Where is your light? I feel so far from it. This world feels so far from it. My family members feel like they're suffering and far from it. Where are you? Please come." See, when we call out like that, in time, we can come to recognize that there is sweetness and that God is actually present in that longing, that we can't have that longing unless there is a God that we're longing for, unless there is a peace and a love and a harmony and a truth that we're longing for. And so the advice that I've received from a variety of different spiritual teachers in the Bhakti tradition, including my guru and a few people that are like instructing gurus for me, has been to, rather than praying for a response, in other words, rather than saying, "God, please fix this, make this better, change this, address this," that we first just come to God regularly, expressing the longing, singing the blues. You know what I mean? Like the dog that's crying out for its master, or a child crying out for its mother, that we allow for our heart to be filled with the emotion of the anxieties or worries that we have, and that we use that as an opportunity to call out to God, where is your love? Where is your light? Please come, please come. And that when that's authentic, when we call out like that, we start to recognize in time that it is that in that call is the satisfaction that we're looking for. Listen to, that piece again from Rumi that's so powerful. He says, there are so many love dogs that out there have no names, nobody knows their name, and be like one of them, so that we can learn to be satisfied by the call itself. In Bhakti, the way that we talk about this is to say that when we're in separation from God, when there's that longing for God, that separation in time can be relished just as much as the sweetness of union, when the peace is there, when the love is there, when the light is there, that we can feel the same quality of connection to God when we're crying out as though God is missing. In some ways, the intensity of our love is even deeper when it feels like our master is away. So that's the first piece of advice, I guess, that I would have. Like one thing that I just try to do if I can, I'm not very good at it, but is, when I'm worried or concerned, like my sister is about to have a baby, and so I have nights where I really worry, is she going to be okay? Just there's no reason to worry really, but it's just worry. It's my sister, So when I feel that, I try to, rather than saying, knock, knock, God, I got this problem, could you solve it? Because I only like, peace, and I only like happiness, Instead, I try to take a moment to realize this anxiety is intensifying my desire for peace and love and connection and unity between myself and others, between God and the world. And I have to take a moment to be thankful for that, and then let myself try to relish it just a little bit as I cry out from that emotional space in my prayers. And for me, that's japa, that's chanting every day. But it could be something, there's many different prayer traditions on this planet, right? But how it must be personal. That's the main thing. And then my second piece of advice is similar, I guess. It's okay to ask God for help. There's nothing illegal about that, but we have to surrender the results. So we say, please bring your peace, please bring your love, please bring your healing to such and such a person in my life. They're going through hard times and it hurts my heart. And, but at the end of the day, it's not my will, but yours. And it's not your way in the universe. It's yours. And so help me to trust and be faithful, because, we don't want to approach God with the sense of, I only show up when something's amiss, and I'm only happy if I get the answers that I want. So we can ask, and then we can say, but, not your will, but not my will, but yours. And, I trust whatever the results are, and I surrender the results. In that way, we're training ourselves to pray and to show up psychically and emotionally for those that we love, to be connected with them in spirit. And that endears us to people, and it endears others to us. But it also endears us to God at a deeper and deeper level. Our relationship becomes much more personal because we learn to see God's hand in everything, and not just in the results that we want. And over time, it teaches us how to pray. It teaches us how to get to the essence of our prayer, which is the emotional yearning for and the emotional connection to God in whatever we're saying, whatever we're feeling, whatever we're asking for, whatever we're talking to God about. The quality of the heart's connection that starts to come forth when we surrender the results over and over again. So those are a few ideas from the Bhakti tradition about how to pray, and to remember that the longing that we feel for the peace or the love or the light or the harmony that we see missing in some place in our life, that the longing for that is in itself a connection to God. Because we can't have that longing unless we understand that God is the source of all of those things that we long for. So remember that, and try to feel the sweetness in that longing. Try to feel the divine romance in that longing, and it helps you to come closer rather than to feel abandoned or alone or anxious. It helps transmute those feelings into the spiritual version of those emotions. And that's what bhakti is all about, finding the spiritual version of the emotion that we are experiencing, especially, especially often because we're driven to prayer through negative emotions, often especially the negative ones, but the positive ones too. All right, that's what I have for today. I hope that this was helpful for you. And please feel free to send questions anytime you've got them about bhakti to info@nightlightastrology.com. Thanks so much, everyone. Hare Krishna.